Hey guys, so an interesting AI startup has actually hit a pretty big goal, around $100 million in annual recurring revenue. And you may kind of think to yourself, well, okay, why is that important? I think this is actually important because this marks a pretty big milestone in the evolution of AI because it's showing that AI in this one particular market is actually getting a lot of people and it's actually helping this very highly regulated industry, and that industry is the law industry. Yes, this is an AI startup meant to help lawyers, and it has hit a very large amount of revenue, annual recurring revenue, and it has signed on a lot of big contracts. So we're going to go ahead and cover it in today's video. Let's get right into it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and look at this article by CNBC. The AI startup called Harvey has hit a 100 million US dollar in annual recurring revenue. So this AI startup is basically a AI-powered legal platform for lawyers at law firms and large corporations to help with legal research, drafting, and due diligence. And it is also building various different kinds of industry-specific use case tools. And it has gotten a lot of traction. Even this article itself points out that CNBC's parent company, Comcast, has signed on as a customer. This company has surpassed 500 customers, and you may think, well, that's kind of small, but we're talking about big law firms, so 500 customers is actually pretty substantial. That's not a small number. That is a pretty big number, because these are 500 customers who will be paying hand over fist for this technology. They're paying a lot of money, and they're selling this like hotcakes, okay? And it's a pretty interesting story. They talk about how their accounts are growing massively. They'll sell to, like, a big company or a law firm. They'll buy a couple hundred seats, and then they'll buy way more seats, and then alongside that they'll be using the platform a lot, so that scale the platform. They kind of get in a little bit into this article about how fast the platform is scaling and all that stuff, and it's pretty interesting, but that's not the main thing I want to cover. One thing I will do is a little bit of background, just kind of show you this product a little bit. Obviously I can't really go into the product to show you, because I don't have an account. It's not something I can really test out for you guys, but basically there's some examples here. It's meant to be an assistant to help you, with different kinds of legal cases, drafting things, different kinds of conversational collaboration. It helps you, add citations to things, and there's a lot of different things going on here. It can give you better wording for different stuff. It's meant to be a pretty good platform for lawyers. It can be fluent in about 50 different languages from different countries and different legal systems entirely. So it's meant to help really complex law firms analyze all of their stuff and get down to brass tacks, especially when handling really complicated law. And that's just the thing. Really complicated law. This is I don't think I really have to say it. Law is a very regulated industry. Lawyers, law firms are held up to very high standards, and that's for a reason. It's because law is very important. It's a very important part of the way our society functions, and it needs to be held to a very high and strict standard. So I feel like it says a lot about AI that we're here right now with this platform that's just selling like hotcakes. That we're here with this platform that is meant for such a highly regulated industry, and we're here now. I think this is kind of a really telling sign that AI is really rapidly changing, and it is evolving, I think, way faster than we might have really thought it would, if I'm going to be honest. I feel like a couple years from now, a couple years ago rather, I don't think any of us really expected to be here in this kind of moment, in this kind of scenario, wherein we'd be thinking that AI would be doing helping us with like legal work and stuff. Now, it's not like an AI lawyer. Don't think of it like that, because it's not that. But it's something that assists lawyers, and I think it says something that this much trust is now being put into AI, because again, law is a very highly regulated thing, and it's something you have to be careful with. If you're a lawyer and you screw up, it can be a very, very big problem for you. Not just because you could lose a client, but you could get disbarred, and it's a lot. You have to be putting a lot of trust into something like this, where you're utilizing an AI for just to help you with your like legal cases and whatnot. That's a lot of trust to put into AI. And a few years ago, I don't think we ever would have put that kind of trust into AI. But here we are now. It's being used in the legal setting. It's being used in defense now. The DoD has signed like tons of different contracts with tons of different AI companies to use it as a part of defense. We're starting to implement it into healthcare. It's becoming a seriously big thing. And I think that's something interesting to think about, is how far this is progressing and how fast too. Because it's like every other day you hear about a new change in this technology, and it's just, I don't know, there's something kind of interesting and also a little scary about it, because it's also not a technology we fully harnessed either. So one might say we might be getting into this and putting it into industries that are very sensitive, maybe just a little bit too fast, because again, this is a technology we don't have a full grasp on right now, at least not yet. So, the possibility for error definitely exists. It's not non-existent. The possibility for error is there, and you kind of have to balance out the risk with reward here, and that's something I think for a while we've definitely been tiptoeing on, the risk and reward with AI, because it's by no means perfect, and it does tend to make mistakes. I mean, to be fair, humans make mistakes too, but it's when AI makes mistakes, it's kind of harder to attribute, because there's a lot of different scenarios I could get into, and that could be a whole video in and of itself. But AI making mistakes is kind of different from a human making mistakes, partly because you kind of, especially with something like law, you can't really attribute the mistake to the AI, because the AI isn't legally considered a person. So where the blame falls is kind of difficult. You know what I mean? It's a very weird thing. And when you start getting it into highly regulated industries where mistakes can't be made, and when mistakes are made, the blame needs to be put solely and quickly, it's definitely interesting. So I don't know. It's cool. I think how fast this technology is evolving is cool, but I do feel like personally, in my opinion, and if you guys have a different opinion, let me know in the comments down below, but I feel like maybe we should just take this a little bit more slowly, because we are pushing ourselves. I don't mean to say that we shouldn't have AI keep evolving. I think we should keep using this. I think it's a great tool. I think it's something that we should continue to use as a society. I think it can help us. I think it can benefit us greatly. However, I feel like we are putting this into places where it shouldn't be put very, very, very fast, before we have like an actually decent grasp of the technology, because we really don't yet. We're not at AGI. We don't have some kind of perfect super intelligence. That's not really a thing yet. There's still parts about AI we don't understand how it works or why it works the way it does. There's still things we're kind of confused on. It's not something we have of, as much as we're used to AI now, it's not something that we have a full grasp on. It's not something we fully fleshed out. So I feel like maybe we shouldn't be putting it into these like really sensitive industries so quickly. But I don't know. That's just me. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. That is about it for today's video. Like, comment, subscribe. Take care, you guys, and remember, as always, to stay safe out there.